It is very quiet out here, and the reason is because we're in the middle of nowhere. We're just outside of Spring Green, Wisconsin right now, and this is called Unity Chapel right over here. And the reason that we're here is because I want to show you the original final resting place of somebody who is very ingrained in American culture. And I'll tell you who it is in just a second. But Unity Chapel right here, dedicated in 1886, has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. Unity Chapel. These gates are just fantastic. I love these. The old feel here. This is Unity Chapel. All right, here, welcome to Unity Chapel. Some interesting stuff here if you would like to pause that and read it. Give you a straighter shot of it. Sorry about that. Now, the interesting thing about it and why we're here is because there is a small cemetery back here. And this was the original burial place of somebody who was a very interesting character in American history, especially in terms of when you think of modern buildings and architecture. And he was buried here until 1985 when his wife passed away, and then they exhumed his body. They cremated them both and put them into... they sprinkled their ashes in a couple different places, most notably their home in Arizona. Now, he happened to have a home just down the road, down this way and to the left. And I don't believe it's open today, but that man is Frank Lloyd Wright. And if you've never heard of Frank Lloyd Wright, he designed some of the most classic and inspiring houses and buildings of his generation. And most of them are historic, dedicated landmarks today, and just really interesting places. But his original burial location was this right here. He had this interesting stone as a marker, and then this was where he used to be buried, if you can see that. It says, love of an idea is love of God. Frank Lloyd Wright, 1869 to 1959. He lived a pretty long life, but he was a very influential man. And he inspired a lot of people. And if you've never seen a Frank Lloyd Wright home, there's a lot of them in the Midwest around here. And you can see them online. You can come and tour them. There's a lot of them that are open. He did the Dana Thomas House in Springfield, Illinois, which is one of the more notable ones that I've been to. But his architecture was like nothing else that I've ever seen. But this is where Frank Lloyd Wright was originally laid to rest until 1985 when he was exhumed and cremated with his wife. Now we'll take a little look around the cemetery because I believe some of his family was also laid to rest here. This was Elizabeth Wright, co-founder of Unity Chapel. Now some of these have markers that, like, I've never seen anything quite like this, ones that were labeled this way. So it's very interesting to see these. And just on the other side of Frank Lloyd Wright, let's see who was over here. We're kind of exploring this one together here. If I can get a good shot of this. This is really hard to get over here. This looks like the Peters plot, if you can see it there. It's really hard to get the gimbal to show a decent shot of this. But this is it from the other side. But Frank Lloyd Wright, he was, in terms of architecture, he was one of the best, one of the biggest names to ever do it. And to think that he was originally laid to rest out here, it makes sense being that his house was just over there. But, this really is in the middle of nowhere. We'll check out and see if we can see any of the other family here. This is the first time I've ever been here. So we're kind of looking around together. Mark Henry Lackerstein, MD, 1835 to 1897. Wouldn't it have been interesting to have lived back then? See how much different things would have been, see how much different the country would have been. No electronics, no running water. Would have been a different, very different time. Charles H. Evans, died December 3rd, 1883, aged 23 years. People really didn't live a long life back then. As always, we always try to be really careful to take big steps over the graves and be respectful and try not to step on anybody. But this is one of the reasons why I love old cemeteries. Look at this. Just the design of this. Mary, wife of R.L.I. Jones, died August 3rd, 1870, aged 62 years. That is really neat. But I'm really not seeing too much else here in terms of family. But I wanted to show you where the original final resting place of Frank Lloyd Wright was. But that's really all we have for today from Spring Green, Wisconsin. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care.